get some political analysis now. Dr. Levy Ndou joining us on the line on this matter. Good to have you, and thank you very much for your time, Dr. Ndou. The DA saying, well, we seek to demonstrate that we are actually different from the ANC. At least John Steenhuisen is saying that in that leaked letter, in that we hold our MPs accountable. On the other side, looking at it, one would say they are displaying that maybe they are exactly like the ANC by wanting MPs to toe the party line. The ANC will tell you that there is no party that will allow its members to pursue its narrow self-interest over the common good of the party. What's your analysis on this exchange?
Good evening, Thabo. Good evening to the viewers. Thank you. Yeah, it's important to indicate that in different political parties, you need to have a clear position of the political party, which has to be told by all members of political parties. Different political parties would articulate their positions on any matter, and they would all only have designated people to speak on the matter. What appears to be clear here is that the Democratic Alliance is saying they are for a two-state approach, and at the same time they disagree with any form of violence that has taken place. They appear to be saying that they do not want to stand for or against any other state, but they are against any form of violence. It also depends on where individuals and parties stand, because you would expect that members of a political party would constantly toe the party line and not speak contradicting what the party is actually saying. And that also talks to the general discipline of the members of political parties. We've had instances where members of the same political party will speak differently on the same issue, and that creates a lot of confusion amongst ordinary members of society and within the political parties.
But does it not expose double standards? For example, when you have a party that would say to members of parliament, vote with your conscience and not along party lines, yet they would want to punish their members who would want to speak out of their own conscience and not along the caucus decisions that would have been taken by the party?
There is not a seriousness when you belong to a political party. It is only that in South Africa, when other political parties would want to win members of the ruling party towards their direction or position, they would insist that members of the ruling party should exercise their consciousness. But in reality, all members of parliament in South Africa and of different political parties, they toe political party line. And that is why in South Africa, when we vote, it's only going to change in the next elections. When citizens vote, they vote for political parties and then don't vote for individuals. Political parties will have political party stands. They will have caucuses even before they go to parliament so that they agree on how they're actually going to tackle issues. Anybody who is a public representative sent by a political party, that person has to toe a political party line, because that is why they are sent as a political party and not as individuals. But in this instance, some might say there appears to be a double standard on the part of the Democratic Alliance, but at the same time, some would say if you are against any form of violence, then equally your members could be correct if they talk condemning any form of violence or abuse of other people on either side. either Israel nor Palestine. But there could be other factors that would influence the party to actually take such a harsh punishment, because we all know that the Palestinian-Israel issue has actually divided many people in many nations, and of course, there are individuals who would have their own understanding and their own views on the matter.
But even there, Dr. Ndou, is that not even, again, demonstrating the double standards of the Democratic Alliance? The DA comes and says the ANC cannot be neutral when children are being slain in the Ukraine. The ANC says, no, we are taking a non-aligned stance. It seems in their latest communication, their position now is almost a non-aligned position, maybe leaning more towards Israel, but also saying that we condemn all aggressors who are breaking any sort of law, which means they are almost wanting to take a neutral position. Would that not also indicate double standards?
It would have been interesting if Mr. Cachalia would have said Palestine is committing genocide, where we don't know how the Democratic Alliance would have responded. The unfortunate part is that we are seeing a trend in which there appears to be double standards. You will recall that when there was an attack on Ukraine, you had many other states, including the U.S., condemning what Russia has actually done. But when it comes to Israel attacking Palestine, you get the very same people supporting Israel. And I think the element of double standards appears to be very, very clear. And it is not only happening here, it is also happening with other countries and other individuals. And I think that is where you and I would therefore agree that indeed there is a lot of double standards and an element of not being very much consistent with the positions that are taken in the international political space.
John says we're on the cusp of taking over national government, and therefore I've got to demonstrate how we're going to deal with MPs. But by and large, he says, you are undermining my leadership. Is this giving us a sense of what John Steyen's leadership is going to look like for those who will try and undermine his authority?
Well, that could be what we should expect. But I want to assure you, Thabo, and the viewers, that most leaders would want to be seen being in charge. They would want to be seen as the ones that are articulating party positions, and they would not want to see themselves being dominated by other individuals. This could be the case with what has actually happened with the Democratic Alliance. But what is also very, very important is that political parties have got their own frameworks, their own arrangement in terms of how individuals are supposed to conduct themselves when it comes to social media, when it comes to party positions, and of course, those that might be seen to be saying anything that is contrary to the party positions have the potential to be punished.
Dr. Levy Ndou, much appreciated. Thank you very much for coming on this evening. Political analyst Levy Ndou on the line for us.